Hi friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be playing with some new Natasha Denona products. If you haven't seen, Natasha Denona just launched the new Golden collection, and I picked up two of the products from the collection. I have the eyeshadow palette and I have the highlighter trio. We're going to play around with both of these products today, so grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's get into the video. I want to start with the highlighter palette. This is what the highlighter looks like. As you can see, I've already got mine dirty with fingerprints. This retails for $55. This is a very pricey highlighter palette. I think that's more than the Dior highlighter palette, which is insane. This is what the outer packaging looks like. I'm going to show you guys the ingredients in case that is something that you care about. It's also made in Italy, which I love me some Italy formulas. It says that it is an extremely soft, wet powder hybrid highlighter. And it also is kind of like a jelly powder. So we have a light, medium, and a deep shade. I feel like for me with the lighter shade of the palette, that's gonna be probably more of like an inner corner highlight kind of shade. I do think these two highlighters I can get use out of. I'm gonna start off with the deepest shade first, and it picks up quite a bit on the brush. Ooh, okay. All right, so immediately I'm seeing that this is not a super finely milled kind of highlighter. I feel like it kind of sits on the face. It's not as smooth as I thought it was going to be. Very reflective, very pretty, but it's just not a really smooth highlighter formula. Take some of the middle shade and kind of go on top. Wow. So you can get a pretty blinding highlight, but it's not a highlighter that's going to just melt into the skin. I kind of feel like this is a highlighter that sits on top of the skin. I'm not loving it. Like, I'm not like, very blinding when you turn your head, but I'm just not loving how it's sitting on the skin. It's not really looking the prettiest. So let's swatch all three of these. The swatches, you can kind of see how this is more of a thicker highlighter formula. I feel like Natasha's highlighters are usually more of like lit from within kind of glow, but you can still kind of build it up to be, you know, have that intensity that you want. So with this, I'm a little like, for $55, I'm not loving this. I don't think this is a revolutionary formula. I don't feel like it's anything too different from what's on the market or really a unique formula from Natasha, and I feel like she has a lot of unique formulas. I just would have loved to have seen that in her highlighter palette. Let me put some on the nose. I'm going to take the middle shade on the nose because, I mean, why not? I'm not going anywhere. I just feel like it kind of like emphasizes texture a little bit. It just doesn't look as smooth, you know? Let's move into the palette, which I'm pretty sure that's what you guys came to this video for. Yes, it is already so dirty. It does have the little holes in the back so you can punch out the shades. This packaging is so reflective that I really cannot hold it up. Looking at this palette in person, it does look a lot lighter than I was expecting. Honestly, it's like, it's giving I Need a Nude 2.0. So we have I Need a Nude and the Golden palette here, and as you can see, this one obviously is more golden, but the I Need a Nude is more cool toned neutral. I'm hoping that I can create something, you know, really cute. I do wish that there were more deeper shades in here because I feel like, same thing with like I Need a Nude, there's that one deep shade in here, and I feel like we could have definitely used something deeper, at least one more deeper shade, you know, keep the transitions, but maybe one more deeper shade. Now also do keep in mind this palette looks very almost monochromatic, so I'm not really sure how many different looks you're gonna get out of this particular palette. I'm just taking this shade called Teak, and I'm basically gonna use this as like kind of like a transition shade. I feel like this shade is very close to my skin tone, so it's not really gonna do anything too much. I'm just basically gonna use this to kind of set my eyeshadow base that I put down. This palette from Natasha is basically an updated, revamped version of her Golden palette that she already had in her line. That gold palette had, you know, like teals and like greens in it, and this one doesn't, but there are 6 new shades in this palette and the rest are existing shades from the gold palette. I don't have that palette, so I can't really compare it for you. I am pretty sure there are other people who have it and have probably talked about it in a video. So like I said, this is just a transition-y kind of shade. Honestly, it's not really doing much for me personally, but that's okay. We're just using it as a shade to set the entire lid. I'm just gonna use the same brush, and I'm gonna go into this shade right here. This shade is called Log, and I wanna start building up some depth with this. I don't know if I wanna do like a halo eye, which I think would be very pretty for this look, but I kinda wanna use as many shades as possible. But like, I feel like a halo eye might actually look really good. So let's see how that'll look if we do that. This shade is showing up beautifully, and I'm able to build it up, which is really nice. So it's definitely allowing me to get that depth. I need one of these other transition-y kind of shades to blend out the edges. I'm thinking I want to take this shade called Aria to kind of soften up these edges here so that it's not harsh. Let's play with these shimmers now. I feel like the shimmers are truly where Natasha's palettes shine. I want to take this shade called Varus. I'm going to pop this right here on the outer, well, really on this outer part of the halo eye, because we are going to put something in the center. Wow, this is actually, you know, I know this is a gold palette, but I wasn't expecting this shade to be as gold as it actually is. Like, I just wasn't expecting that, because in the pan, well, I mean, in the pan it doesn't look that gold, but like in person it definitely looks pretty gold. This shade right here looks stunning, so I'm gonna take this shade on my finger. Wow. And I'm gonna pop this in the center. Wow. So my camera just cut out on me, so I'm not exactly sure what you guys just saw. I just took this shade called Nubia and popped it on the center of my lid, and it is a beautiful shade. This shade Fizzy is truly calling my name. It is so pretty. So I'm gonna pop Fizzy right on top of Nubia just for a little bit more oomph in the center, and I definitely feel like it gave me that oomph I was just looking for. Wow, the shimmers are truly where Natasha shines. Very beautiful. Now for the lower lash, I'm just taking the shade Log. I'm gonna take Aria now and just kind of clean up that lower lash. Nubia, that shimmer shade, I'm gonna pop that right in the center on the lower lash. Lastly, to finish off this look, I'm gonna take the lighter shade in the highlighter palette, pop that in my inner corner here. A little bit more like white gold that I wanted, but it's okay. It'll do. All right, so here's the finished makeup look. Now, I have some thoughts on both of the palettes. I will say this look is truly not my favorite look I've ever done, but I also feel like this is a look you can truly recreate with something you already have in your collection. Let's start off with the highlighter palette. I do not think that you need to waste your money on this because it is truly nothing revolutionary. I feel like Wet n Wild has prettier highlighters, more like lit from within, kind of wet looking highlighters that melt into the skin. I just feel like this one sits on top of the skin and truly does emphasize texture. It almost kind of looks like glitter on the cheeks, and I'm not a fan of how the cheeks are looking. So this is truly a skip. Definitely not something you need to run out and buy in this collection. Honestly, this product was truly a little bit of a letdown. No, it was a big letdown because I was expecting some kind of like wet, almost putty highlighters like they were describing, but these really do not feel like putty highlighters to me. They just feel like regular highlighters, and there's nothing special about them. So unfortunately, this is something I would truly pass on. I'm sure you have better highlighters in your collection that are way cheaper. Now, this is a really pretty palette, but is this something you also need to run out and get? No, you definitely don't. I feel like this is a palette for those of you who liked the I Need a Nude, but it was just too cool toned neutral for you, but you prefer more warmer tones in an everyday neutral palette. That is what I think this one is. I feel like this one is truly like the sister or cousin to I Need a Nude with just, you know, golden tones here. I feel like a lot of the looks you can get are going to be very subtle, you know. This look I feel like could be a nice night out look, you know, with the deeper shade. But But I feel like if you are looking for, you know, like that perfect everyday palette that is a little bit warmer, but the golds aren't yellowy gold, then you might really like this palette. I don't feel like this is something you really need to spend your money on. Honestly, you can truly find things in your collection. The formula is great though. You know, that's never an issue with Natasha when it comes to her eyeshadows. They're pretty consistent across the board. The shimmers are truly where I think the brand shines, honestly. I think they're very pretty and really, really eye-catching. I will say I would have loved to have seen deeper shades in this palette. Again, I feel like Natasha kind of along the lines with I Need a Nude. I feel like there definitely should be another deeper shade in here. The deepest shade did show up really well. I did build it up with a couple layers, but I will say I had a much easier and smoother time using this palette than I did with the I Need a Nude. I don't know if it was the fact that it was cool tones and it kind of pulled a little ashy on me, but because these are warmer, it looks a lot better on my skin tone. I really hope that the next palette that we see from Natasha, she gives us a little bit more depth in there. I do feel like her palette's really kind of been more on the monochromatic side, which is not a bad thing, you know, but I would love to see her kind of like bring back those fun color stories that are just cool, you know what I mean? Like cool and fun. I'm not saying we need a bunch of color, but I just feel like we need something else from her, you know, when it comes to her eyeshadow color stories. But that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this collection. Are you picking it up? Are you skipping out on it? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye guys.